3 years ago we made a video about Supabase, and a lot has changed since. So here's a fresh, up-to-date look. Supabase is the open source Firebase alternative built on top of PostgreSQL. In a single platform, you get a full Postgres database with auto-generated APIs, authentication, file storage, real-time subscriptions, edge functions, and vector embeddings for AI, all managed from a clean studio dashboard. And because it's open source, there's no vendor lock-in. You can self-host it anywhere or let a managed platform run it for you. And here's something I'm personally happy about. Back in the old video, I complained that edge functions and storage weren't in the open source version. They were cloud-only at the time, and good news, they're now part of the self-hostable stack too. So when you self-host, you really do get the full platform. To start using Supabase, you can use the free plan of the cloud version with a 500 MB Postgres database, 1 GB of storage, and 50,000 monthly active users. Or, since Supabase is fully open source, you can self-host it for free. Or use a platform like ours, Elestio, to deploy it seamlessly on your server or the cloud provider of your choice. We handle the installation, backups, updates, and ongoing maintenance for you. To start using Supabase on our platform, head to ls.io and click on Login. Then deploy my first service, search for Supabase and select. Choose between the different cloud providers, regions, and service plans based on your needs. I will choose a large one and then click on Next. On the final step, you can adjust more advanced settings and choose between different levels of support. The first one is free and included by default. Once you're ready, hit the Create Service button. Once the installation is finished, you receive this email telling you that your new service is ready. Follow the Get Password link. You arrive on Elestio administration dashboard for your new Supabase instance. The admin UI link is here, the username it will be root, and then the password, copy it to your clipboard and follow the admin UI link. Type your credentials, paste the password, sign in. When you arrive on your fresh Supabase instance for the first time on the home, the first thing you want to do is to connect a project. So click here on the top. You can link it to 4 different things, to a framework or a direct connection string, so more if you use it only as a DB, an ORM for Prisma or Drizzle, or as an MCP for your agent, with guidelines to install it with the most common AI agent. To keep it simple, I will use a framework, but there is not a real good answer. It depends on what you are trying to achieve. The most popular frameworks are available: Next.js, React, Vue.js, Svelte, and so on. You can see React Native, Swift, so it's not limited to web app only. You can see that everything is polished because even when you choose Next.js, they ask you which variant do you use, app or pages router, what library you use to give you the proper instructions. You can follow the steps the old school way, so following the install, add files, and also copy the prompt for your AI agent. Let's paste it in an online notepad to see what it contains, and it's just instructions that your AI agent will have access to be able to set up your project with Supabase. Whatever option you choose, you have instruction available in the documentation to explain you how it works, how to connect your application with the database. But now I know you will let the AI do it for you. And for that, there is even skills that you can add to make sure the AI agent knows how to communicate with Supabase. They really made the right transition to the AI era. All right, let's dig a bit into the sidebar. So let's keep it as expanded. On the left, you have the table editor. But so far, we don't have any table yet, so we could create one together. But I asked Claude to prepare me a script, so we will have quickly a database available. So I'm pasting it, running it, run the query, and now we should be able to see new tables in the table editor. We have authors, so name, email, biography, comments, and posts. The UI is pretty good. It includes all the default you want, like searching by any column. And the auto-completion is great, equals, not equal. So you really have the SQL syntax available without typing it manually. You have sorting available by multiple columns at once, but this is not actions you do daily. Usually what you will do is here API docs, and it will be your backend that will communicate with your Supabase instance, or front end too, of course. You have the documentation automatically generated, so you select the table you want. Then you have example for read rows, filtering, insert rows, and so on. It's not comprehensive. It is example that covers most of the default things you do, but then you can go in the documentation for more. On a table, you can enable real-time. So any change to a row will broadcast events for subscribers to be notified. We will see that later. And about here, RLS disabled, we have this warning about row level security to prevent any user to be able to alter the data not related to them. So let's enable it because we're creating it manually with the SQL script. So here, enable for this table, enable, and let's add an RLS policy. So here you can see all the policies. It's attached to user out of the box. So we create a policy. And so we are on the table authors, and we want either to make it permissive or restrictive. We choose on what type of request we create the policy. So let's say we only want to update a request that is belonging to one of our users. So only one user can modify its entities. You will need to either do it manually here, or here on the right you have templates. For example, update policy with table joins, and it will automatically update the left. Here, if I select insert, you can see the request to create the policy will be updated. This way, even if your code is not as secure as it should be, or if you are not using a backend and using a Supabase in the front end directly, you have your database taking care of the authorization. In database, here we have this nice visualization of all our different tables. So here we can see we have posts that are attached to users. So by the author ID, we can relate posts and authors. And same for the comments. A comment is attached to a post using the post ID. Useful to see the big picture about what your database look like. And from this screen, you have access to the tables creations, also a database functions to perform function based on database event. You also have the authentication module, which means you have a user's table out of the box. So you don't have to recreate the authentication login password from scratch. It's using JWT, and it is compatible with the popular auth method like Apple, Google, Facebook. And you can even integrate it with custom ones with SSO and SAML. You also have storage that is now available in the open source self-deployed version. It is S3 compatible, so you have the default bucket. So let's create one. Let's now name it media. You can define if it's public or not. You are allowed to restrict the file size. So one file won't be bigger than 50 megabyte, or you can fine tune to kilobyte, gigabyte. And another great feature is you can restrict the meme type. You can be specific to really JPEG, PNG, or image / and wildcard. So we allow all a type of images. Let's create it. Let's enter inside. Here you have all your buckets. On the left, I can upload something. Let's say I upload the logo. So it's a PNG, it's an image, it should work. And it does. I have the preview, I have the link, I can download it, delete it. It's also things you can do programmatically. And let's upload instead a video. Here, Elestio presentation, open. It tried to, but it was blocked by the security because it's not a video. Again, check the documentation if you want to learn more about it. Now let's switch to Edge functions. It's the second big miss we had that is now available. So one is created automatically. You can see we have the function hello, and it's automatically created at this endpoint. Let's copy it. Let's open it in a new tab. And what we can see is it outputs hello from Supabase Edge functions. As with every feature, you have explanation on how it works, how to create one. So you do it locally using the CLI, how to run it locally, and how to invoke it. So you invoke it locally, but it's running on your backend. And if you go to the GitHub repository, in the examples, you have edge functions, go to Supabase functions, and you have tons of example of edge functions. So let's, for example, take 11 Labs speech to text. You can see it's in a TypeScript using Deno, and you have a full example that you can copy paste into your project. To keep your functions secure, you have the secrets here to provide environment variables secrets to your edge functions. Finally, let's check Realtime. How it works is when you broadcast messages from a channel from your client application or database via triggers. Then you write policies to control who can see messages within a channel. And 3, your application subscribes to a channel to display things you want in real time. Let's take create a trigger. And here we have database trigger. So let's click on the plus. You name it the way you want. Let's say new author. On what table? So it will be on the authors. And you can select if it's on insert, update, delete, or multiple at once. Trigger type, so either before the event to do some filtering and approval of the request or transformation, or after the event, it's what you will want usually for the real time. And if it works for the row or for each statement. And then you pick the function to trigger when it happens. All right, let's create our trigger. And by doing that, you will be able to set up real time and do the next steps. You can even choose the setup real time for me, which is one of the wonderful AI features available on this new version of Supabase. But to enable AI, so either by using this feature that automatically opened it, or I think it's here on the top right, the AI assistant. First, you need to add the OpenAI API key. If you self-deploy it, simply add it to your environment. But if you choose to deploy it using our platform, Elestio, go to the admin page, the overview, update config, and in the environment, we already set up one. So the environment variable is here. You simply need to remove it as it's currently commented and replace OpenAPI key with yours. Once you've done it, update and restart, and the AI assistant of Supabase will be available. In addition to these amazing features, you have Advisor. It's for both security and performance and query, ensuring you're following the best practices on your project and flagging anything that will take too much time or any security issue. And for seamless integrations with other tools and your existing stack, you have the integrations. Many are available, such as Cal.com, ClickHouse, Slack, and Stripe. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed rediscovering Supabase with us. Please hit the like button to help our channel be more visible to other open source lovers. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss our next platform overviews. If you want to continue your open source journey, watch this video, available here.